Hi, everybody. This is day 1086. 1086 days since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, the Siamese sister city of Juarez, Mexico. Um, and we know, I just watched Sound of Freedom yesterday. We have a lot of human trafficking, child sex trafficking going on across the borders. And we know that Richard was making the CPS complaints, and I'll read those again today for you, and also the CID complaints. So let me make sure I'm on, make sure I'm being heard. Okay, yeah, I see myself. Okay, so thank you so much for coming on. Today I want to talk about Danae Katzen, because there was a, a request for clarification on that, and I'm very glad to give that. So, thank you for reaching out and asking me about that because it was a very confusing time, and that whole situation needs to be clarified. So, the end of September of 2020, we arrived in El Paso, and just on the 28th of September, Danae Katzen reached out to us. We arrived there in El Paso late on the 25th, got organized on the 26th. She reached out on the 28th right away. We thought, wow, we have someone already going to tell us where our son is. And at that time, we did not know that Richard was a whistleblower. We did not know, did not suspect foul play in a grandiose way, or, as a number one, like we absolutely are convinced now that he was murdered. But at that time, that was not the case. And we were very happy to have someone reach out to us. Danae Katzen, she, unknown to us, but very known to the El Paso community, um, she was a scammer. Okay, she was a con woman. And, if we would have been investigating everybody at that time, we would have found that out very quickly because a very simple search on her, um, if a methodical search could find out that she was up to no good. But we were not in that mindset at that time. We were very trustworthy, believe it or not, um, of the CID to help us, of General McConville to help us, of Lieutenant General Bernabe to help us, of Brigadier General Stewart to help us. The FBI, we were hoping that we could reach out to the FBI to get help. Um, and we were ready to hear about our son. We were very, and you can go back, you can look at live streams, you can go and look at different podcasts that we did at the time with other individuals that care about this subject, that care about our service members. And you will absolutely hear that from us at the time, that we were just um, very open to everybody so that we could hear about our son and what happened to him. And we were praying that he was alive. And Danae Katzen reached out. And so we didn't even think, and yes, I guess we're naive, but we didn't even think to really, because we thought that the CID would do the checking for us. So we gave her name and the information that she gave us to Special Agent Soto, who at that time was in charge of the very small CID office there at Fort Bliss. About 7 people, 7 special agents in that office. I'm not for sure, but I think it's around 7. And so we gave him that information. Of course, this is a missing soldier, so you would think that it's priority. And he just, just blew her off. And we were like, why is he blowing her off? This is a lead. Um, and so it really did confuse us. It was very confusing. And so we thought that we would be patient if they had, I know they were having some criminal problems in addition to what happened to Richard. And so we were just kind of waiting, and there was nothing back. And we didn't hear from CID and all the information that we had given them, and they didn't talk to us about it. And so we asked, and they were like, "Oh, well, she's just nobody. It's nothing. It's nothing." And we're like, "What do you mean? Have you gone and interviewed her?" They hadn't gone and interviewed her, and so we were very confused. We uh, I decided to give her a call, and she said, "Oh no, they haven't contacted us." It wasn't until a month later, October, um, the end of October, that they finally brought her in and talked to her and everything like that. But the reason why they didn't is because they knew that she was a scammer, you see. But the thing is we were worried because she was saying that a soldier that she had gone out on a date with was dangerous, that he was dangerous, that he was a predator. And we have so many predators today. We don't need another one walking around on the street and everything. That he was making advances at her like a predator, that he had a gun, that she just counted him as dangerous, armed and dangerous. And so we were very concerned. We were concerned for her, and we were concerned for the community, and we weren't getting answers from the CID from the information that we were hearing. No explanation. And so, it was very concerning to us that you could go back and listen to the videos of our truck call with her, and we have other information. But the thing is the CID absolutely knew that she was a scammer. Okay, and so they just strung us along. They just strung us along. They're just so evil. I can't even tell you how evil that all is. And so anyway, to make a long story short, many other things happened, and we became the lead investigators in our son's case. And with every passing day, we got better at it, and we started investigating. And um, of course, there was Amber Chase, and who shares a baby with William Molinar, and William Molinar, best buddies, I guess, as far as horse training and that, with Danae Katzen. and Amber Chase is with the mortuary affairs and um, reporting crimes against her child that we asked for prayers for. And then these connections that we made with Belin's family and Danae's family, and we were like, oh my gosh, um, we were scammed. And not only that, but there's a chance that Danae Katzen is involved in Richard Halliday's case. I mean, she's involved in Richard Halliday's case, but how deep, how wide um, is she in this case? And we've never gotten a clear answer because uh, the CID has never been forthright with us. And there's been a lot of collusion, and now they are implicated in the forced disappearance of our son. Okay, and the leaking of his information and the illegal exposure of a whistleblower, because we found out that he's a whistleblower. And then with time, if you search her name, you will find out that she was on the list of scammers for El Paso. She was on the list for the El Paso police 10 most wanted fugitives, including the El Paso Sheriff's Department, and for many other reasons, right? For many other reasons. But I'm just curious why her records are the way they are. And we would like some answers to clarify that ourselves, why those court cases kept being delayed, and what happened. And we believe she made a plea deal. A plea deal for what? Does it involve Richard's case? And what is really also curious is that she met us at KTSM to scam us using the media. And it seems that the media is like Ms. Corcherga of El Paso Matters of KTEP, and then you have KTSM trying to sabotage the search for Richard. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or they're being used, okay, or if they're being scammed, because Danae Katzen scammed KTSM. And the way they reported it, I don't know. Maybe they weren't. I don't know. It's very interesting. All I know is a soldier. From my point of view, from what I know of him, he was used and abused, and he was mishandled, and that was allowed by the military. That Danae Katzen did that. So I don't know for what reasons were the plea deal. I don't know. Um, I believe that a plea deal has been made with her. And the other point with her is Phil Waters. So we hired a PI, very famous, that was recommended to us through a trade-off sergeant major. I mean, we were scammed every which way, y'all. Um, and, PI Phil Waters was just up to no good. We didn't know. And when he got there, he did take the opportunity to interview Danae Katzen. I don't know if it was a setup. I don't know. I don't. I have allegations of collusion. Um, I'm going to tell you, I'm confident that I have enough. Well, I should say, Team Find Richard Halliday has enough information for the alleged collusion of CID and Phil Waters and Danae Katzen. Um, and might be Belen too, Belen Rocha, and that um, there may be, well, we have information that there is conflicts of interest. Okay. So Phil Waters, known as the interrogator, did interview Danae. And it's a very interesting, she just played him like a fiddle, or he allowed her to play him like a fiddle. So, let's see. I got a message. I like to answer my messages, look at my messages because maybe there's something wrong. Okay. Um, so Phil Waters was being played. I don't know if he's stupid. I don't know. I don't know. But he did not do a background check on Danae Katzen. He didn't even look into her or whatever. And this has, we had to give him 5 people that we wanted him to interview and that he would check up on and stuff like that. 5. Yeah. So, but he didn't do that. And so during the interview, um, during that time, right, right then and there, I mean, God has amazing timing on all of this. I sent a message to Phil Waters, and I didn't send him many. I didn't talk to him much. I let him do his job. But I did send him this message when I was given a tip, a lead that Danae Katzen had a record, a criminal record. And so I looked it up, and I wrote him quickly, and I said, "Do you know that she has a criminal record?" And so I have his response on that, which was to be, he was employed by us, and he was just ugly to me. And there was nothing that I said or did that would make that happen. You know. Um, so I really feel like the way everything was handled and other information that we have and on record, that there was collusion between the CID and Danae Katz, and absolutely CID and Phil Waters, and then Belen Rocha. So maybe not so much Belen, but of course, a bit. Um, Her interview was far different and a little shocking. But the Danae, that was just such a scam. It was just, she just took Phil Waters for a ride. He was not the interrogator. He was just a little wet puppy. Um, yeah. So that was, and, she did the same to us. Okay. But I'm not a trained private investigator that used to be a police officer for years and years, retired. I'm not that. I'm just a mom, okay? And a wife and a Gigi, right? So now I've learned some things about investigating because we've been made chief investigators. So um, Rob and I have learned a lot through all of this. And if you know more information about her, please don't hesitate to call 941-677-0060. But I hope that that answers and clarifies um, the credit card girl. We really went to all length to protect her for the longest because she's just she's a young female, but she's up to no good. And she scammed and hurt a lot of people, which means that she hurt El Paso, which means she hurt Fort Bliss. She hurt it. And the thing is the CID let it happen. They just let it happen, and the command then let it happen. Um, and so they had some cover up of their own that they used her for to do. She was played like a fiddle too. Um, so that's the story, and I hope that that answers those questions about Danae Katzen. The other point that I can make about that is I have information that she's friends with Lilani Hart. So they have a connection, Lilani Hart and Danae Katzen. And I don't know who puts the people up to do what they do, right? I don't know. I have my suspicions, and I keep collecting the information. Rob keeps collecting the information. We put them together. He's always kept a great journal. And so I hope that helps. Now, the other news that we have is everything that's going on at Turning Point USA. That was just really amazing. Let me see if I can turn this on. Play this.
And I'm not actually supposed to announce this yet. Do it! But I don't see anyone up here cutting this mic, so I might just have to say it. We are working on a new child trafficking documentary. And we are...
Sorry.
I'm not actually supposed to announce this yet. Do it! But I don't see anyone up here cutting this mic, so I might just have to say it. We are working on a new child trafficking documentary. And we are specifically going to focus on the child sex trafficking and child organ trafficking operations that are being run out of Ukraine right now.
So that was a little, I've heard some information that there was a lot of child sex trafficking out of Haiti, child sex trafficking, of course, in South America. And I did hear rumors that that it was coming out of Ukraine. And, if that's what this war is about, is to secure child sex trafficking, to destroy cities after cities and people's lives in order to secure child sex trafficking for these pedophiles. Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of it. And so, you know, this is uh, this is what Richard was absolutely complaining about. So let's read his complaints again. I think they're very important. His first allegation, Richard reported instances of child endangerment, physical abuse, and neglect involving specific children. And he expressed, with deep concern, you know, worry for their safety and well being. And he urged them to act swiftly, to intervene swiftly. So that's his first complaint. And the second complaint was, you know, that's when he started naming names. Okay. So Richard reported criminal activities including child exploitation, so the child trafficking, the drug related offenses in all of this. And he implicated the individuals believed to be involved in the illicit activities that posed a direct threat to the safety and the welfare of children. So, yeah. And the third one, and we got the dates for those, which is really handy to fill in the timeline. And the third complaint, Richard expressed frustration with the lack of intervention and action from CPS. We do too, because where is the complaints regarding his previous complaints? So he was frustrated that they did not act on his previous complaints. And he emphasized the urgent need for immediate attention to safeguard the affected children and address the alleged criminal activities. So, like, why does our agencies, why does the DA and the AG and Veronica Escobar and the Army and the CID and the FBI, why do they all seem to be protecting pedophiles and child sex trafficking and the drug trade? And they must be so dirty. They must be so ugly. So ugly to allow these children to be hurt. And I don't know where the media is in all of this, because it's so clear by their lack of clarification. At least they could clarify their stance, right? But the lack of any clarification, the lack of any kind of action is sickening, absolutely ugly and sickening, and just, I mean, it's like they're protecting. It just seems like they're protecting everybody that wants to hurt children, and especially sexually. From sexualizing them, from grooming them, all the way to raping them in Leilani Hart's bedroom, with multiple uh, members of her household, right? And then in the movie that you saw yesterday, they like to take the pictures and like to make the movies. Um, and of course, Leilani Hart confessed in her notarized complaint to the CID and FBI that she had all kinds of child porn in her home for long periods of time. So who was making it? What was being done? Who was airdropping it? Who was distributing it? This is just so ugly. It's and that is my we need to think about the beautiful things, and we need to establish the beautiful things, and that means we need to have justice, and that we need to have accountability. And that is really what my message for today is: accountability, to get back to the things that are good and true and noble and beautiful, so we can have a future for our children. And those that are defending and protecting the pedophiles, the child sex traffickers, the drug lords that are making money off of all this, and also the sales of our military equipment, military weapons, and also because you can get loads of money for them right over the border in Mexico, and the ammunition. This is how ugly McConville is. The worst type of enemy, y'all, because he has charm, but he is betraying you. Backstabbing you. He committed crimes against humanity, and now just every one of our service members are in danger because of him. And he wants you to think through his means, because he has means to project his not genuine charm. Um, he wants you to think that he deserves those 4 stars, and he doesn't. He needs to be stripped from them, and he needs to be taken out of that uniform. So he could make a difference, and he doesn't. And the same thing. Remember in 2024, what Veronica Escobar has done in 2020. Okay? So I think it's going to be very clear. I hope we have some decent elections in 2024. Um, we'll see. So, okay, everyone. Thank you so much. I know it's Sunday, And I just we just want to say thank you so much. We love you. We thank you for coming on here and sticking with us steadfastly. And thank you that our numbers are growing. And we have this intel. This week is going to be a big week. Um, Stay tuned. God bless you and keep praying. Keep praying. Bye bye.